Zillow stopped iBuying. Does this mean the market's going to crash? No. Find out why based on this market, and I'll kind of break down what's going on with this recently in real estate. So before we do all that, please like, comment, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. It really helps out to contribute to this channel and get these messages out to people. So anyway, so Zillow decided the other day, if you haven't seen the news or the headlines, I haven't quite heard about this yet, that they are going to quit pursuing their iBuying house flipping business, however you want to say it, based on their inability to accurately predict and forecast prices. Meaning they're admitting they don't know what the heck they're doing when it comes to real estate. And this is the biggest thing that I try to explain to people about Zillow, is that they're not a real estate company. They are a marketing company who has buyers get on there, look at houses, and then once those buyers actually need a professional like ourselves, Zillow sells that lead to us realtors who can actually help them through what they need to. So Zillow is good at user design of a website to look at houses. And that's about where their expertise stops. But that's what most people have confused about Zillow, is that because they have so much online market presence, they perceive them as an authority in the industry when they are not. And so they have the perception of knowing about real estate, but the truth is Zillow is a marketing company, just like Realtor.com is, or different ads are. And just because somebody has a lot of advertising presence like Zillow does, doesn't necessarily mean they have real estate authority and know how to really deliver the service on the back end, i.e. why they they sell those leads to us realtors, and us realtors who actually know what we're doing on a local level, really get you the best bang for your buck and know what's actually going on, not just Zillow trying to dictate what the market does or doesn't do. Because you can see they've been trying to for a while, and they have not had success to try to dictate where the market goes and what it does. Essentially, they gambled on speculative real estate, banking on appreciation that didn't come, essentially. Because we did appreciate as a market, but it didn't appreciate to the extent they thought it was going to, and it didn't continue to appreciate, which was their whole business model. Their whole business model with iBuying houses is they go, okay, I'm going to buy this house, even at market value, and then sometimes over market value, banking on the fact that it's going to appreciate at 20, 30, 40%, like they've been seeing in some of these markets, because they had this dumb assumption that was going to continue for the next 2 to 3 years. It didn't. Like, they thought that hike in appreciation was going to continue for longer than it did. And basically what we're starting to see now is that markets are stabilizing. And that's why they're pulling out, is because these homes aren't appreciating like they thought they're going to. It was a little bit of a hectic situation with the pandemic. And you still see some of that going on in the bigger markets where these things haven't quite settled down as much. And you probably still have some bad realtors telling you that the market's crazy and it's hot and things are going nuts and whatever because of public perception. But then you have realtors like myself who are telling you the truth of what's really happening. And the truth is the market is stabilizing. And like most people's adoption methods, it takes a little bit for people to really come to terms with what's really happening right now. Because the truth is the market is stabilizing. And if your realtor is sitting there preaching to you like the market's crazy, the market's hot, and then you go to list their house and you don't have a bunch of showings, you don't have a bunch of offers, they look like a fool at that point with everything, because they're not actually studying the data of everything. And this is a long way to say they gambled and they lost, but the market's stabilizing, especially here in Wichita, where we're not seeing prices be quite as, so prices are staying where they're at, but they're not getting above asking price offers as much. We're not getting as many multiple offers, but they're not going down. And so that's why I say it's stabilizing. It's not like people are taking less and less for the house, unless they're just being arrogant about pricing the home in a bad way, which we have seen some of that go on. But again, most of that has to come with the skill of your realtor, not necessarily the market and how well they're interpreting the market with you and how fair you're pricing your property on everything. So that's the big difference between a marketing company like Zillow and realtors like us, because we do marketing as well. We do advertising, That's not our main thing. Like all Zillow does is marketing and advertising. We do a lot of marketing advertising to help assist you and to be a bigger value add to you as a realtor. But at the end of the day, if we don't have the services that you hire us for, being a realtor, knowing real estate, knowing the factual data, knowing what can actually be pulled off in this market, not just displayed to everyone, it kind of all falls flat on its face. And so that's a big key distinction I want to make is a marketing advertising company like Zillow compared to a realtor company that's your local realtor in your market that knows it on a micro level, all the way down to your neighborhood, down to your house specifically. Because Zillow is trying to do this on a national scale, and it's just not quite as feasible as the local expert who lives and breathes and works in this community and has the pulse of not just the numbers, but also the feel of it that goes on too. So that's where, that piece I don't think can ever be replaced is on a local micro level, just because there's people in the middle of this at the end of the day, and people do business with people. And even though they might start on Zillow, they end up with the realtor in person. So that's my comment about that. You might be thinking, oh, what's this have to do with me? What's this mean for you? Essentially what this means is it's not as crazy as it used to be. And you have some time, and this is why I say some time, to make smart long-term buys. And what I mean by that is that instead of houses being gone, in a few hours or a few days, it's a little bit not as tense, so you still need to act because you never know. I could say that and then the house goes pending the next day, or you lose the house that you want. But it's not quite so constricted and frantic, I think, as everybody was on everything. So you have some time, but at the same time, don't be like thinking you got all the time in the world in order to be, messing around looking at these things and making your decisions. But at the end of the day, when I say you have time to make smart long-term buys, what I mean by that is that at the end of the day, like you're typically buying a house based on your personal life event reason, whatever that is, and you want to know how that's going to affect you for a long time. And you have a little bit more flexibility in considering all the different options of what you want to do for your personal situation for this long-term buy you're about to make. So like if you're going to live there for a while and you're a newly married couple, you have a little bit more time to decide where you want to live, what location you want to live. We're starting to see more inventory come up. If anything, Zillow bringing some of these houses to the market will help some more inventory come up. People are just feeling more comfortable to actually transact real estate in what we've seen is more of a normal, stable way, not quite such a constricted market of, there's way more buyers than there are sellers. And we're starting to see it even out so that we can do a lot more what I call fair real estate transactions and just do fair deals with everyone instead of trying to waive inspections and waive appraisals and pay way over asking price. It does not mean, though, that the house prices are going to crash. It just means they're going to stabilize more and they're not going to be appreciating on a rapid rate like they were before. So if you're a seller, I'm sorry, your window of opportunity is either closed or getting very close to closing as far as the banking on the rapid appreciation. But what the flip side of that is those prices still stick around for an entire year, or longer. So I don't see the prices going down. So you could still sell your house like that. It's just not necessarily going to fly off the market like it was before. But houses are still selling. People still are buying and selling for all their personal life reasons. All that's still going on. If you're buying, it's just a little bit more loosened up. So it's not quite as anxious of a situation to where you're like, oh my gosh, like I got to make a decision right now in the next 5 minutes. Like you might be able to make a decision that night or the next day based on the situation because there's not quite as much activity and competition going on. So hopefully this helps you learn a little bit more about some current headlines going on with real estate with Zillow and the stop and iBuying. And some people go to, oh my gosh, is the market going to crash? I just had one of my past clients reach out to me recently and he was like, Zillow just devalued my house by 20 grand based on what I paid for it. And I was like, don't pay attention to that crap. Like it's just a number on a screen. It's not factual. It's not an appraisal. It's not accurate. Like it's just a marketing company throwing numbers around, trying to make you think that they know what they're doing, and they don't. They even admitted it. Like they put it on their own headline. We can't predict prices. So why would you put out as estimate or base it as factual? So just be leery of any of those online automated valuations. They're not local market experts like we are, and you can't just base everything off of a, automated online valuation on everything. Use an expert. This is why we have a profession. It's why we still have value as realtors. Some people thought the realtor was going away. In all reality, the realtor is needed more than ever in this time, in all this uncertainty, complexity, like what's fact, what's fiction type of situation. So anyway, I'm going to get off here. Appreciate you watching as always. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. We'll talk to you later. Peace.